Hi friends, Joanna here. Quick share today. Yesterday I had shared with you the Dritz rotary blade sharpener, and I had trimmed up some of my blocks here, but I forgot to mention a good practice before doing any trimming is to do pressing, because these were all random blocks, right? And none of them were even. Well, most of them. There are 34 blocks actually altogether, and a lot of them aren't even. I have just sewn them basically, exactly the way the pieces were cut. So they're just random blocks, random pieces, as you can see, right? So before trimming, you want to make sure that you press your blocks. Always want to make sure that your blocks are nice and flat before you do any trimming, right? So typically what I usually do for myself, and this is a disclaimer, I am not an expert sewer at all. I learned from excellent ladies who are really good, and I'm just taking from their advice. So the first thing that I usually do is I have my blocks and I press the seams from the wrong side. So typically what I'll do, and depending on how many seams that your blocks have here, right? So I'm pressing from the wrong side because I got a whole bunch of questions about pressing. I don't know. I am not an expert presser, right? But the reason that you want to make sure that everything is completely flat, I usually start from the center and try to work my way out here. And it doesn't always look pretty on this side, right? And then I flip it over to the right side and I start in the center and I just kind of lightly, press. I do have steam on my iron. And then you can work your way out, right? So you have a nice flat block. And these blocks, like I said, they're not like exact sizes. I just trimmed up and I am leaving the blocks the way that I had left them when I sewn them. I basically am just trimming, and I have no foundation pieces. I don't have any batting because we are not sure what we are going to use our blocks for. Like, I'm not sure what I want to make. Whatever I make may not need any batting, right? So we have our nice squared up piece, right? So this one has not been trimmed up, but before I do anything, I want to go around to the wrong side again, because this is creating like a little bit, and I'm not pressing hard, I'm just kind of going like right over. Again, I am not an expert sewer, so there are going to be people who are going to say, oh, maybe you should do it this way, but this is just the way that I do things, so I'm just sharing with you what I do. So again, to the front, I'm just kind of lightly, and this one has not, you can tell, has not been trimmed up. So I'm just going to, and then work my way out. Give yourself a nice flat little block here, right? So we'll let this cool down. We'll trim her up a little bit. And then another thing when you are working with any of, quilted pieces, any blocks, is to check your seams. So I'm going to show you where I think I made a boo-boo somewhere. One of these pieces, yes. So this has been squared, evened out. This has been pressed. And here, there's a little hole, right? So I don't know, this stuff happens. I made 34 blocks and I went through my blocks and I have one. There's usually always one piece. So you always want to make sure when you are pressing that you look for your seams. You want to make sure that none of them, you know, are there, you know, that your stitching is straight and there aren't any holes. So you want to go through all of your pieces and check, right? So again, this is not going to look very pretty on this side, but that's all good. So let's trim this one up. So the other day when I was trimming these, I forgot to mention that I don't always use the big giant rulers. I use a smaller ruler. You can use, for these, if you want to straighten up, you can use a regular household ruler, you know, kids ruler, school ruler. This is a 12 by 2 inch ruler. So I'm just going to match up the lines on the ruler with the lines on the mat vertically and horizontally, right? Again, so I'm just going to give a quick trim. See, my new sharpener works so good. I'm so excited. And it's not a paid promotion item. It is not. We don't have any of that. So now that this has been pressed, it's nice and flat, right? So we're going to match these up here. And we're just going to give a little trim on the sides here. That was my error. I didn't cut enough off. So let's cut a little bit more off here. Okay, so we're going to just match this up here real quick. Right? And I didn't mention these tips. Shame on me. But yeah, so nice clean cut, nice clean and flat, right? So that is basically what you want from your blocks. You want them to be pressed before you trim. This way, you know, when you're cutting, they're nice and flat. They're not lumpy. And obviously the more pieces you have in your block, the more seams you're going to have, right? So I'm going to have to go back and fix my little boo-boo here. So what I'll do here is I will just take this here, and there's a sewn line here from the one square and up to the other one, and I'm going to sew down, and I don't even know what happened, but this stuff does happen. That's why I'm showing you this. So I'm going to have to stitch from this to this, and then we'll fix that problem, right? But you do want to check your seams and your oh, I want to talk about intersections here. Okay, where's the one I wanted to show you here? Okay, so intersections are, this is another question that I was asked. So when you're pressing this here, I'll show you real quick. This little area right here has, let's see here. We have these seams here. So I didn't want to press this here over because there's too many seams here and there aren't any seams here. So I pressed it this way, right? Because it just seems to be a lot easier because there aren't any seams to contend here. But here, at this point here, I had to trim this intersection because if I didn't trim this little intersection right here, this would have not laid the way it is. So now it's going to lay flat because I had just given it a nice little trim here, right? Because you don't want to cut your seam, you just want it to fold over nicely, just like that. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about intersections. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, to give you guys a little basic 101. And I found a new product here that I absolutely love, and this is definitely not a paid promotion, but I just started using this probably a couple weeks ago. But this Best Press, I don't know if I shared this with you guys before. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you guys have like your fat quarters that come folded, you know, they're folded around a little square piece of cardboard or cardstock, and you have those mean wrinkles that are horrible to get out. This stuff actually really, really works, and I love it. So this is a linen fresh scent. So yeah, it's really awesome. I just wanted to give you a little pressing tip with that. So I just wanted to share that with you and to answer a couple of questions that were asked. So give a thumbs up and let me know what you guys think. So I have 32 or 31 more blocks to get to, but I do have a little help here. I have some friends, so I will have to get busy, and my friends and I are going to finish squaring up and pressing these blocks. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.